right, fellas, a lot of compact consoles only have a couple effects engines returns.
Yeah.
Yep.
This one included only has 2, and we have a full band. So what do we do when we only have, say, 2 effects returns?
You mean we can't layer effect on top of effect?
No.
This is truly unfortunate, guys. How are we going to do this?
First world problems there.
This is, wow.
But for sure, we're going to want to, at least if we think in terms of our vocal, we're going to want a reverb and a delay.
Yeah.
So we need to find a reverb that we can use for maybe an acoustic, a drum, you know, an all-purpose reverb, and then a delay for our vocals.
Are you okay with this?
I'm still trying to get my head around not layering stuff, but I'm going to try to work through it. So let's
Okay.
keep going.
Good.
All right.
So this particular compact console has this one knob feature where we're going to use this to kind of dial in the sound of the vocal. So Andrew is going to be our vocal. He's got a microphone. It's as if by magic.
Can you sing your highest note?
Hey.
Great.
That's about as high as it's going to
So this is flat right now, so we're going to add some EQ by just taking our one knob vocal preset, and we're going to high pass, cut some low mids, and
Hey,
boost some
check.
high mids all at the same time.
Hey,
it's
1,
crazy.
2.
So
Look what you've done.
Get a pretty good vocal sound
Sound pretty good.
with a volunteer who can turn one knob.
That's great.
It's great.
Love it.
Okay, so now for our effects, we've got a reverb and a delay. So let's start with our verb first.
Test 1, 2. Hey. Test. Test.
Okay.
1, 2.
So let's go to the effect itself and see what we might want to do to make that sound a little.
Yeah, it's a
little more
little
pleasing.
metallic. Hey, 2, right?
Yeah.
Little metallic. 2. 2. Yes.
So
Check.
let's figure out how we can edit the reverb preset
Yeah.
to see what we can do. So we've got reverb time, initial delay, which is pre-delay, and then we've got presets here that we can choose from. So if we don't like that, we can choose other things. But generally, a reverb plate is kind of what we all go to as our
Right.
default. So that's kind of where we are. But some of these consoles have more editability than others.
Yep.
So we might not have every parameter at our disposal, but we do have density, diffusion, high pass, low pass.
I think usually on most of these, I would do the high pass first, just to get rid of any low end crud that might make it in here. Hey, 2, 2. Hey, 2. Yep. Check.
So that's like 300 hertz, 400 hertz.
Yeah, 2. Hey, 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 2. 1, 2.
And we can also EQ the return of the verb.
Right. That's something that a lot of people don't realize, is that you can EQ the return of this
Right.
effect, just like an input.
Yep.
And so if you hear an effect and it has too much high mid or something, just like a vocal, you can just EQ it.
There we go.
And
just take
that's
that.
where the metallic sound I'm hearing kind of
Yep.
diminished.
We can get
So
rid of it.
So that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Hey, 2.
That will probably work on the drums also.
Hey, 2. I think if you could put a little more high end, just a little sparkle, what do you think?
Yeah.
Without getting too crazy?
Except that our console is limited to a high and a low.
So,
So maybe we can see how high our low will go to get that
Switch 'em, yeah.
mid-range thing out of
Great.
there. And then
There we
take our
go.
high a little higher and find some of that sparkle and maybe shelf that so we can get the
hey, 2.
Is that better?
That would work in a mix, yeah. Hey, 2. Hey, check. That's nice. Okay, so that's pretty good on the verb.
So we did something that was kind of cool. We actually, because we were limited by our EQ parameters, we were able to, instead of using our low band for a high pass filter on the return, we did the high pass filter on the reverb itself.
Yep.
So it almost adds another layer of EQ for us, even though our console EQ is limited.
You can
Great.
get creative on these and
Yeah.
get what you need.
That's
For
cool.
sure.
You really can.
It's very cool.
Okay,
so what about delay?
That feels good.
Yeah.
So delay. Hello? 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 Check. Check. So that's nice. So that's nice.
And so we have a tap tempo here. So if we're in the song
Yep.
and we're just tapping along with the tempo of the song,
2, 2. So the first thing that I feel is this is a full band of delay. So you hear
Yep.
on the high end,
it's an echo of your voice.
it's an echo of my voice, which this is what gets a little annoying.
Especially if the
sometimes.
feedback is 10 or so repeats.
Correct.
It just muddies everything because
Who
it's
would
just
do
a.
the feedback that big?
I would raise the feedback, actually.
But not with it sounding like that.
No,
Right.
no.
Right.
Because you just don't want 10 echoes
No.
or 20
That's right,
echoes.
That's right.
So we need to. This is where EQ really comes into play.
That's right.
So we can take our highs. Like we said before, it's almost like
Hey, 2.
shelving the top.
Listen to that. That's nice.
There we go.
Check. Hey, 2. Hey, 2.
There we go.
It's very nice. So now if we can find inside the effect parameter the amount of repeats or feedback, whatever it's labeled.
We've also got a high pass filter here. So we could have done our filtering here in
either
the
place.
actual plug or the actual parameters of the delay, or you could do it on the channel.
Right.
So let's add some feedback, and then we should be set.
2. Hey. Check. I think we need some more.
Of course you do.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with 40 or 50 or even 80 repeats, Jeff. Hey. 2.
But the cool thing about that is the tone just stays out of the way. It's
right.
like you have the presence of your natural voice, and then this sort of AM radio reverb thing
That's
that
right.
kind of is part of
Hey,
the.
check. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's very usable.
Very.
Very usable. If I was putting together a mix and I had those available, I would use them.
It's great.